I'm live. Am I live? I don't know, guys. Am I live? Woo! Let's take a deep breath and get ready for the stream. Actually, you know what? That's what I gotta look up the name of. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Okay. Oh boy, I didn't write that person back. My bad. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. I'm looking to see. I see some reactions going. I just need to look up the name of this crystal I have with me again that I'm about to go into here. Okay. No, I thought it was gonna. Oh gosh. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there it is. There's the name of it. Septarian. Septarian. You can hear me. Yay. Hi there, Jason. Hi there, Cosmic Water Stories. Wonderful to have you here. Hi there, Joanna and Selena. It's a pleasure, as always. Okay, let's see. Okay. So I have a lot to get into. Okay. Okay, so I'm just doing something very, very quickly because I love these girls. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to mod them up. Yeah. Okay. Oh, and there's Miss White Swan. Yes. Hi. Okay. And you'll excuse me if I'm saying septarian wrong because we have a special guest with us today. This is the crystal that I'm bringing forward to help me with the stream. I've had a lot of crazy experiences happening these past couple weeks, and hopefully I can get through it all, especially since the last stream I did was on the K-pop Demon Hunters, and let me tell you guys, my life is a fucking movie. I'm a manifester. I say things, I relate to things, and then I experience it, whether I want to or not. It seems like it's like I gotta be almost like, do I need to be careful about what I go into, or is this coming to me because that's what I'm currently going to be experiencing? Like, I'm not really sure, but there's been some definite weirdness going on pretty much since the last 2 live streams that I did. Some major energy shifts have been going on, not just since then, even I would say since that full moon ritual that we did, me and my girlfriends did in November. I did end up doing another one in December too, and that is really where the main focus of a lot of what I'm about to give up here and offer up to you guys is like, wow, what is going on here? Like, look what I've been dealing with. Maybe you guys have been dealing with something similar. Yeah, isn't it a beautiful crystal? That was a gift from Miss White Swan there. So very much appreciate her friendship and the fact that she's still hanging around here after all this time. Oh, there's Thesis. Hi there. Yes. The 7th scene. Of which K-pop Demon Hunters? I don't know them by scene numbers, but if you remind me a little bit about what it was, I can definitely click into it. So, I mean, if you remember, okay, at the end of the movie, okay, the main character, her patterns had been exposed, her secret shame had been exposed, right? And that was really what the demons wanted, because that's what demonic consciousness really wants. Is it and entities that are around you that feed on demonic consciousness? They feed on what, like loosh, right? Which is negative feelings such as shame and guilt, and just generally feeling bad about yourself. And so they had told me, my guides, my main guides, right, had told me there was like a Warren Ampersand character around me, right? And so I was like, well, let's fucking get rid of him. And so I went over exactly, who the character of Warren Ampersand was and how he was disposed of. And let me tell you something, the synchronicities showed up for that. Okay. Because, well, not just that, on top of the synchronicity showing up about that type of an entity, which was an entity that wanted to feed off of me feeling bad. You know what I'm saying? And they ended up putting him into a black hole, which it really reminded me of the fact that I'd gotten this time hop message where it showed in one of my streams from like over a year ago. And I realized that it had taken me a full year to completely unpack all of what I had gone through in the past like 4 or 5 years. It took me a year to unload all of that and to get to the core root, which was like, that's what I feel like I've been like trying to show you guys, like, okay, so like I don't know everything for sure. You know what I'm saying? I don't know exactly what I'm doing with everything, but I definitely want to be an example for you guys to see how you can get out of this situation. So let me tell you just want to tell you real quick. Okay, so it just made me think, and okay, one more thing before I start, just in case I have to end suddenly, because the last stream I did, I didn't tell you guys this, but I was literally having a heart palpitation thingies happen like the entire fucking stream. And they don't happen as much as they used to. Like I feel like it was getting better, and it is kind of getting better because it's not such a strong thing, but I don't know if it's just like emotional stress or if it's actually like someone sending negative energy at me anymore. I don't even know. And the first thing that I've been talking to my girlfriends about really is just that, like, is like, okay. And the reason this comes up is because the angel hunter that I talked about in many streams ago, a couple months ago, he wrote underneath my promo for one of my streams, and he made a comment, and I didn't even know he could see my page anymore. And he was a black magician, and he absolutely told me that he was going to be doing black magic on me. And just this picture kept coming up of this picture that had let him know that I was there to, I don't know, give him a last chance at love, is how he kind of felt. And after I ended up seeing a lot of red flags and like pulling out of it, like I said, he like came after me, he literally blew up the relationship that I was in at the time, with my daughter's father and everything. And I had to do a lot of work to clean all that up. So, but I don't know if, like, I don't know, is that him? Like, because if he saw that, then he knows now. This is where you can find me. This is where you can watch me. And this stream literally opens up, every stream opens up, like, in my opinion, like a portal that gives you access to me. So I'm just going to ask that the ancestors and the angels and everyone who's guiding me here to just please help me and protect me and help me guide to whatever it is that I need to finish my healing. And I just ask that you guys please pray for my heart, because it's such a scary thing when it happens. And I want to live. Let's just put it that way. The root cause. I want to fucking live. Okay. So a year ago, though, Braden, the last ex, he was just now starting to get into a relationship with me. And there was this dream I had where he basically put this chain around a black hole, right? And I was like, wow, he like insured some kind of golden timeline here for me. And then it happens to be that the War and Ampersand character, right? I'm like, so now I'm trying to figure out, okay, well, when did that guy come in? And how can I distinguish, how can I sift through my story and figure out where his presence was? So that way I can, identify it. And not only that, but get rid of it, right? And I thought I was really doing a good job at that, considering I had gone to my deepest level. I felt like of the thing that I felt the worst about, and I cried on the stream to you guys, like, this is what I have felt bad about, and so I really like took a step back and just like, I put everything back in the alchemical fire and started just asking myself, okay, well, what was my real intentions? What was my real intentions? And I realized that my real intentions were always just like, how do I explain this to someone? You know what I'm saying? Like, here I am. I know that I have this ability to manifest. I've manifested in my past, and now I've manifested this huge thing, and I saw big results from it. So then I started practicing this manifesting, and it led me down this path to where here I am with you guys all today. Okay. So it just so happened that in the ceremony we did at this 12/12 retreat, and I'll get into more of the ceremony after I get through some of the other stuff, but the ceremony we did with the people from the Star Knowledge conferences, which are no longer happening, Jennifer and Brian, Jennifer Crystal Eve on Facebook. If you guys want to find her, I definitely highly recommend her. I absolutely love them. I felt at the retreat itself, I felt the most connected to them. And honestly, we had the most powerful experiences together. And I did the most, like, I did tarot readings for everyone. Well, not everyone, people who wanted it. And honestly, I had to cut people off at a certain point because I was like, no, I've had it. Like, I didn't realize that a bunch of people were going to be asking me not just to do readings, but to channel as well. So I was like channeling in people. And the main person that I ended up talking to, the main three people, was this one girl, her father had passed away, another person, their father had passed away, and then Chief Golden Light Eagle, who I've had spiritual connection with before. And I was there at Iseti the day of his passing, and Brian did a drumming circle in honor of him that night, and I wore my blue fairy cape, and I remember I just danced. I danced around the fire in honor of him, and I connected with him before. And so honestly, when I was able to connect with him again at this retreat, and I really am been praying to him even more so lately and just trying to talk to him and communicate with him, and he had a lot of good things to say. He's got real great energy. Like, he comes through, oh my god, he came through like fully dressed up, like dolled up, like Native American regalia and everything. They were like, yeah, that's exactly like something that he would do. Okay. Yes. And so the ceremony that we were ended up doing, though, they did several songs, and the first one was for protection. I know that I recorded the songs. I'm going to start listening to the songs. I'm going to learn the songs because they know the power of music. Okay, they know that music brings people into coherence with each other, into the same vibration. And the songs that they are singing are thousands of years old, passed down by oral tradition. And so he said, Brian was basically telling me, and I totally agree with him on this. I already felt this way. Just even with normal, like everyday songs, I know that two people listening to the same music, you know what I'm saying? It will bring them into alignment in a certain way and allow for connection to happen. And so he was basically explaining to me, he was saying, think about it. He's like, every time we sing these songs, we are connecting back and the ancestors who sang that song before us and before us and before us and before, like, and so it makes that song even more powerful. And I was like, that's right on point. And so when we were getting ready to do the ceremony, Jennifer basically said that, and she didn't know anything about my story. Here's the thing. She didn't know anything about any of it and what I'd been recently talking about, and the fact that we were, Warren Ampersand, we ended him by putting him in a black hole, right? And the thing that she called in was, and forgive me, I do not know the name of the Native American woman, like goddess, whatever it is that they refer to her as. I don't remember her name. She said she was calling forward this entity of this person, and that she wanted us to envision everyone, her having a basket, and she's going to everyone, and she's going to take away anything that no longer serves you and that is no longer needed, and that they are going to open it with the songs. They are going to open up a portal into the Orion belt, and that portal is into a black hole. That's where we were going to put everything that we no longer needed or wanted, was into a black hole. So I was like wow. And again, with what I've been telling you, like, I've been going through the abyss, right? And I've been wanting to see what comes back to me, like what gets returned to me if I just put it all away, what comes back to me again, and what when I sift through, like, where can I see the influence of something like a Warren Ampersand kind of character. And it was like click. It was like, oh man, this makes sense now. Like, all these, there were certain times, okay, and even at one point, because they show up through music videos and stuff, signs and synchronicities and messages from God show up in music videos and the lyrics and everything like that. And there was a couple times, mainly when Braden came around, though, but there was a couple times where just really weird songs would come to me. And I remember there was this one that came to me in the video, and it was like, I was like, why is this song coming in here? The frequency felt off. It was like there were always songs that that would sow discord, basically, between me and my soul family. And that's when I knew not to listen to that song, because I was like, no, that doesn't feel right. And so I know that was the influence of that entity that wanted me to feel bad. And it did make me feel bad when that type of a song would come through, and it would be like, basically saying like, fight, basically just like fight. And in one of the videos, there was even a guy in the video. There was like two girls, and there was this guy, and he had blue skin, which Warren Ampersand had the blue skin. You know what I'm saying? So again, I think that this entity tried to get in pretty much around when my shields were down. More like I was okay when I was living with the trucker guy. You know what I'm saying? I think that is really when it started to come in more, or when he would try to get in more. But there was always that subtle frequency of trying to make me or inspire me to look at people in a certain way to where it was like we weren't friends. You know what I'm saying? We weren't close. We weren't connected in this way. You know what I'm saying? Like or like to go after them in a certain way. And I always was able to pull back from that. Like, because I know for me, my compass is love. My compass is set to love, and I have established a baseline of knowing myself, so that when things come in that are not of that, I was able, like, it's very, very distinguishable. And so I think we really did something with the manifestation ritual that we did, me and my girlfriends. I really do. In November, because I asked for something different for the first time ever. I asked for something different, and what I asked for different, or what I worded different, was, instead of just asking for my highest timeline of love and joy, I asked for my highest timeline of love and joy and soul's growth and expansion. I added that in there. Okay. And now I can see it coming through, and it's happening. You know what I'm saying? And the first thing that started happening was like all my worst fears started coming like right to my face. And not just me, it was literally like everyone I was talking to. Everyone, my girlfriends, especially the ones who helped me in this, like the whole collective, because I did include the whole collective when I did the manifestation, is the thing. I wanted the whole collective to rise up, all of humanity, you know what I'm saying? But especially people that are connected to. I want us to overcome our fears and to climb that ladder of ascension that I always talk about. And so as I've been trying to figure out, okay, what the fuck happened? It felt like I like woke up in this completely different timeline, and things had shifted. And this is what Spirit basically said to me when they explained to me what was going on. Okay. And they said that because I had asked for this soul's growth and expansion, that this is what was going on. Like, they compared it to a sliding scale. Okay. And so imagine that we're all existing in a frequency, right? And let's say that frequency range is like between 3.9 and 4.9. Okay. Let's say it's like, because I don't know why, this is what they said. So between 3.9 and 4.9. And so let's say this is where you're normally staying at, and your vibration is normally somewhere. And let's say at 3.9, you're feeling at your worst, really. And at 4.9, you're feeling at your best. You're feeling like, yeah, I'm on the right track, because when you're at 3.9, it's got to give you some type of push to want to keep the climb going. Okay. So when I did this ritual, when we did this manifestation ritual, it shifted the sliding scale. It's like we got to the next rung on the ladder, next rungs on the ladder. And so now, like, it's 4.9 to 5.9. You know what I'm saying? And so now the 4.9, where I used to feel the highest, feels the lowest. And I've got to climb now, got to climb up and keep going and see, what was left behind. Who am I really? Can I stand firmly in my purpose and my story and and all the things that I believe in? You know what? So I'm like, should I just go? Should I start in on the dreams and all those synchronicities first, or should I just go into the nanotechnology and do that right now and get that kind of out of the way? What do you guys think? I feel like I should just go into that stuff. No, because I kind of want to talk about the 12-12 stuff. Okay. I'm just going to feel it out. We'll talk briefly about the nanotechnology and stuff first. So one of the things that I want you guys to take away from this is this website called mindnexus.com. I think it's .com. Mind Nexus. Just look up Mind Nexus on the internet. And what you will find is two of the people that I met at the 1212 gathering, and that I didn't meet them there for the first time. I've met them quite a few times, and they have been doing real fucking work. Let me tell you, improving, being able to prove that it isn't just the jabbed people that are full of the nanotechnology at this point. That they have this equipment and they are able to scan you, and they were able to prove that it's literally in everyone. It's probably from the things they're spraying in the skies, whatever they're putting in the food, and the people who are shedding from the jab. But basically, it is in all of us now. And so they had such solid research and evidence that they were invited onto the Alex Jones show, which to me is like, wow, what a success story, that they've made it this far, and they got to he's the first time ever they got to host his podcast for 30 minutes. That's how much Alex Jones believes in them and their work. And so they gave us a little presentation, and their names are Desiree Foley and Mike Grady. If you want to find them on Facebook, they also are under Mind Nexus on Facebook. They are asking for people to help them sign a petition, okay, to stop non-consensual government experimentation with nanotechnology in human bodies. Okay, so I signed the petition. The petition is on Mind Nexus, the Mind Nexus website. Definitely please help us out and go sign that petition if there's any hope of us doing anything about this. I hope it is through them. And so they basically gave this presentation, and in this presentation, they were able to show actual video evidence of microscopic, like looking at like different stages of this nanotechnology and how it self-assembles in the human body, and it starts turning into what looks like neuron cells. And so what they think it's doing, or what it seems to be doing, the nanotech, is forming neurons and neural pathways, and it's laying itself over top of our already existing nervous system. It almost feels like things got kicked up another level, not just like from the sliding scale thing and this timeline jump that we've all done, which we've all jumped at this point, like all of us. I'm truly stepping into my power. I'm truly starting to see how powerful I am, especially with the confirmations I got at this retreat, and how important even the speaking of it is. It's like that is the most powerful. Like you think about it, you feel it, and if you speak it, that is like the most powerful. You're doing all three things to manifest something. Okay, and that is how I've done it in the past when I've had my big manifestations. You know what I'm saying? Happened was I spoke it, or I wrote it and said it. Okay. But okay, so let me try to stay on track, and I'm just having spirit guide me today. Like how does it want me to go about this? So with the nanotechnology, they came up with a product through the help of this guy named Jesse, who is, I wish I could tell you more about this guy named Jesse. I was mainly focusing on Desiree and Mike, but Jesse, this guy named Jesse, who was on the podcast with them on Alex Jones' podcast, he came up with a formula for this bottle of, I don't know if you want to call it tincture or whatever, like a little bottle of medicine, you could say, and it's called Masterpiece. Okay, it's called Masterpiece, and it's got the true peace sign on it, which apparently they reversed the peace sign, and so now they have the true peace sign on it. And they said, because here's the thing, with the nanotechnology and it being in everyone, you show up as a Wi-Fi router, which it makes sense. It's not a coincidence that they tell us everything, that they tell us what they're doing, right? And they consider it them following these karmic laws and everything like that by telling all the humans what they're actually doing. In a Black Mirror episode, this is exactly what was going on. This woman had a traumatic brain injury. And so what they did was they were able to repair the damage to the neurons and stuff like that. The nanotechnology laying on the neurons. They were able to do that, but in order to do that, it made her basically a Wi-Fi router for them. And so she would have to sleep longer to process the service for them. And then it started to limit how far out she could go. Like she couldn't go out of their range. And if she wanted to go out of the range, then she had to pay extra. And that was how they got the people. And that's how they like just really fucked them over. You know what I'm saying? Is because they had to keep paying for upgrades if they wanted to have a normal life. All right. So I have no doubt. And I've seen it before. Even, Braden used to show me that he was able to see vaccinated people they were able to pick up on it on the Wi-Fi routers, as a Wi-Fi router. So this masterpiece medicine that Mike and Desiree came up with Jesse or whatever, I couldn't tell you what's in it at the moment, but I did order some of it because they've proven that with 3 months use of it, that you no longer appear as a Wi-Fi router. So I'm pretty sure that's on their website. Excuse me. And so if you are interested in any of that information, I highly recommend that you check out their work. Okay. Okay. So the next part that I want to get into now is just what an absolute fucking crazy storm I have been in when it comes to my fears, my emotions, the dreams of the people around me, the synchronicities that were pouring in, of like telling me, like, it honestly, it was very sad for me because I didn't realize how much I had started to doubt myself. And here I was coming out and I was sharing all this stuff with you guys, and it's like something shook me to my core to where I started to doubt everything, and then God brought me all these synchronicities that I needed to realize, like, wow, it was real. Like, all this stuff was real. I was naturally guided to do all of these things, and I didn't even know that someone had already done these things before and proven that this type of manifestation works. And I'm talking about Neville Goddard and the law of assumption. Now, there are things about, and I've always been into his stuff. I think he was a genius when it comes to unlocking your potential and helping you figure out where your self-limiting beliefs are in the subconscious mind, so that way you could change those and start to shift reality outside of yourself and basically create the life of your dreams, right? But I already had some clue, okay, that there was something more to that, to just thinking it. It's like you have to not just think it, you have to believe it, you have to feel it, you have to know it to your core. And when you do this and when you change core beliefs inside yourself that are subconscious beliefs, like, I'm not worthy of this thing, I don't deserve this thing, like, I don't deserve whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? When you start to actually make real change, you're going to get a heavy pushback. Okay, you're going to get a heavy pushback. All the old belief systems are going to now, when you're making the change, they're going to come out right into your face, and you're going to have to deal with them. And you're going to have to push through that and hold true to the new mindset that you have decided upon. And you have to stay loyal to that in order to continue to see the change. And this is where I've always fallen back, because, and I've not been very good even at like telling people how to get that far. This is why I've been doing things like a little bit at a time, because I had to have the belief that it was possible first, right? And it's crazy because I could believe in the most magical things ever, I guess you could say. Like, I could have a belief in that because I had seen it before. I had seen it in my youth. I'd seen myself do it before, like manifesting Odin. I had seen it through my first boyfriend, where I said, God, I want this, this, and this, and the next day it all happened. So I knew that, because even once you realize, okay, I'm able to do this type of stuff, but how do I help others use it, or how do I manifest for others? And I even had people ask me to manifest certain things for them, like money. You know what I'm saying? And at the time, I remember giving them an answer like, I don't know exactly quite how to do that yet, because I know that it's going to take like a frequency inside me. Like, I need to have that frequency in order for me to be able to manifest that thing forward. And what is the frequency? The frequency is the thought and the belief. Okay, so that's part of what I've been working on all these years is, okay, well, first, how do I break that frequency, that chain, okay, of not having an abundance of money? How do I start to break that? And I did, and I have been, because I mean, I do not struggle financially like I used to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know money's going to come in when I need it, and it's going to flow out and come in. And it's like, I just kept trying to tell God, like, the more you trust me with, the more I will pay out, the more I will share. Okay. And so I've been able to start to break that chain, not completely. Like, I definitely am not, like, I'm still having to work 50 hours a week, 40 hours a week. You know what I'm saying? But I know there are other things that have come into my field lately where it's like there are ways to there I have to believe that I deserve that abundance without having to work my ass off. Because that's a really core belief for most people, is that the only way you're going to have that type of money is if you go out there and grind and work hard. But that doesn't have to be the case. Okay. And in fact, this guy that I've been listening to, these new videos that synchronistically came along on my YouTube feed, has basically been saying, like, you realize, like, we are in a time of the world where there's like the most money available out there. Like there's an abundance of money out there, and it's really about getting into alignment and changing those core beliefs in order to start manifesting that for us. So here's another thing that I've been going through, or that I've been thinking about a lot. Okay. And it was, I've been looking around the community, and I remember crying. I'm not like crying. I wasn't really crying last week, but I was like whining the last time. Like, the community just feels so divided, and like I'm like missing it. Is there even a community left? And like it's like it just seemed like the group was getting smaller, and like the people I trust were getting smaller and smaller. And it was like and I realized what it was. I realized, I'm like, well, what is the difference between when I just sit in the frequency and I look at the people that I'm collecting around with right now. When I look at them, okay, and I look at me, and I look at the people that are more successful, okay, like all the people at this retreat, like Mike Grady and Desiree Foley, like there's clearly that's a huge success for their mission. You know what I'm saying? It's like they clearly have subconscious beliefs that tell them that they deserve to have that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and what I look at that like is like a key. Okay, so what my ideal has been, because before it was like, oh, I'm not going to go to the Journey to Truth conference, I'm not going to do that. And now there's no other places for me to really hang out and stuff like that. And do I even want to go to this retreat with these people? I don't know, like, how do they even feel about me and everything? It was like, no, stop all that. Like, I got invited. I got invited. There's a reason why I got invited. Okay, everything happens for a reason. And so I realized that what I need to do is I need to study these people. I need to study their energy, their frequency, their thoughts, and I need to see what keys do they have that I don't have? What keys do they have that our group doesn't have? Because my intention was, even with my manifestation rituals, was like, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to try and go to that Journey to Truth conference. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at them, I mean, that they are successful. And that tells me that part of them truly believes subconsciously that they deserve to have that success. And if we don't have that success, if we like, I can tell you, I can confirm this. I know that there were doubts in me, or feelings like I'm not good enough when it came to even just manifesting more readings for myself, for people to come to me for more readings. I can feel that subconscious belief in myself. And it's like, okay, well, I need to break this. And one of the ways I'm going to break this is I'm going to go and I'm going to expose myself to the frequencies of the people who you would look at and you would say, yes, that's successful. Because we're like tuning forks, right? We're humans, we're like tuning forks. And so being around other humans, you're going to attune to each other. And so that was my main plan, was like, I'm going to go and I'm going to start exposing myself to these other frequencies, and I'm going to tune myself to those certain things, and then I'm going to bring it back to the group that I love and care about, and share that with them so that they can get on track too. You know what I'm saying? So that we all can have that. Because like for instance, like Rob Khalil, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to see him struggling financially to the point where he can barely come to these conferences and stuff like that. He works so hard, but part of what his life shows you, okay, is that some part of him doesn't believe that he's capable of making money financially in a way that's abundant to where he could not have to worry about money. And I want to do better. I want us all to have better. So this has been what I've been doing, and I think I really did a good job. I made some really good new connections at this retreat, and I plan on keeping those connections going. And they even said that I'm welcome back next year. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like this is going to be like a yearly retreat thing for me now. And I'm very grateful for that, because I really needed that reconnection. I really needed to feel connected to other humans again. And they just brought me so much more information that I had not had. And so let's go ahead and switch over now. So far, we're doing okay. We're doing okay, kind of. And so let's go ahead and let's switch over into what I have been experiencing when it comes to dreams. And mainly not even my dreams, mainly my daughter's dreams. Okay, my daughter's and my son's dreams. And even one of mine came true, but it happened, and I know the date. It was December 4th. December 4th, this happened, where me and my girlfriends, we did another full moon manifestation. Okay. And I wrote my manifestation page of what I'm looking for and being consistent, asking for those same things. Like, I can't quit now, because if I quit now, I never break free. If I'll stay at the bottom of that sliding scale. Who knows? Maybe even the sliding scale would drop back down. I'm trying to climb up. You know what I'm saying? So to keep this going. So I burnt this manifestation page, and part of what I do when I do these burnings of this manifestation page is I look for little pieces of the paper that are left over that might have little pieces of the words on it. Okay, so and like the last one I did in November didn't have it, burnt all the way through. I couldn't even tell you what it said. I thought to myself, I'm like, damn, I wish I would have taken a picture of that. Like, because what the fuck did I ask? Like, how did I ask for something where it's like, this is what's happening? You know what I'm saying? Like, I even used tarot in it, and the tarots were, well, there was a timeline shift one, but it was like, what the fuck happened? Like everyone, I'm like, I can't stop it from spiraling out for everyone. And it's like, So the things that were left over from this last manifestation page, it said, when I went downstairs and I looked it up, okay, two pieces of paper were left, and one said divine, the other side said changes, and then another piece of paper said forward. So divine changes forward, forward changes divine. I don't know. You can put that in any order you want. Those are the words I got. Divine changes forward. So we are going forward. We are continuing down this path, because I will not be satisfied until I accomplish these things. Oh my gosh, I know, right? Yes. Okay. Sorry. Let me chime in for a second. So I know. Okay, stop. Okay, we're going somewhere else with this now. So this was the beginning of it. So I woke up the next day. I went downstairs. I checked. I see these three pieces of paper. But let me tell you how my morning started. Okay, so this was a Thursday night going into a Friday morning. And I decided I was going to let my daughter stay home that day. And she woke me up about 5 a.m. Now, I'd already been battling fucking depression, like just the worst fucking depression, that I like doubts in myself. I told you guys I was going through that abyss. I was going through it fucking hard. And all these fears are coming up in my face. And it's like, everyone hates me. And, like nothing is real. And really having a meltdown. And I woke up, my daughter woke up at 5 a.m. And this is my one day to sleep in. Like, my son didn't have to be into work, I think, till like 11 or something. It's my one day to sleep in. And she's waking me up at 5 a.m. And so I'm like, Sarah, please just go back to sleep. And she did. But I didn't. And I couldn't. And it was about 5 a.m. And I'm up. And all of the negative self-talk is in. It was like literally like I was living the K-pop Demon Hunters movie, the ending of it. It's like but it didn't just go on like, how movies do. It's like, it seems like it's like a one small little time period. No, this has been like weeks where it was like all the worst thoughts I could have were coming through. It was like when I'm listening, like after the last stream, especially, it was like I was listening and like this telepathic reviews or whatever came through. And it was like, it's like someone was retelling my story, but explaining it in a way where it was all psychological. There was no magic in it. It was like if they were just going to be a normal human, neurotypical, looking at it, like, see how she coped with her own feelings, and this is what she created with it. And, it was like the difference between Jungian and Freudian is what it felt like. I was like, oh, the fuck? I was like, are we Freudian or are we Jungian? Like, what's going on? Because that's the difference, in my opinion, that they drove home, especially in the movie A Dangerous Method, that was the difference between Freud and Jung, was that Dr. Jung brought in God to the equation. And he was the one that talked about synchronicities, and he argued with Freud about we can't just leave God completely out of it. And Freud was arguing with like, no, that medical physical stuff needs to be completely left out of it. This is all psychoanalytical stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so that was obviously that's one of my worst fears, is to hear that. You know what I'm saying? To hear someone take all the magic out of it and feel like it's not even believed in at all. And I'm just like, whoa, what is going on? And so back to December 4th, right? I wake up and I'm just having just fucking thoughts, and they're coming at me, and I'm feeling terrible. And I'm talking to one of my girlfriends, and she offers to do an energy clearing on me. And I didn't even tell her like what I was depressed about, really. Just like, I didn't tell her what was going through my head. You know what I'm saying? I just told her, like, I'm super depressed, and my daughter, and blah, blah, blah. And she offers to do this energy clearing on me. And I'm like, okay, yeah, do it. Go ahead. I'm like, because I don't know what else to do at this point. And so, I laid there till about 8 in the morning, and then she started the energy clearing. And in the meantime, I just want to say, I'd like this, like, how do I lay this out so you guys can see how this played out? It's like, let's just say I got up at 5 in the morning. I went downstairs and I got this Dubai chocolate brownie that I ordered from the night before. I brought it upstairs because I wanted to make sure my daughter got some more of it. Then my girlfriend was doing this energy clearing on me, and she was great at it. I'll just tell you, it was Selena in the chat. So she was doing this energy clearing on me, and then I had to leave, and my daughter was still sleeping at this point. I had to leave. I had to take my son to work, and then I came back. And when I came back, she told me what she had saw, and what she said she saw two shadow beings that were taking the shapes and the forms of my best friends. Okay, the people that I consider my best friends, my soul family, who really kicked, like the dreams I'd had when my soul brain walking came in, and I had this like download of dreams, and the first conference that really they all kicked off and started at, right? It was like it was where was I going with that? Hold on. Yeah, all those dreams that had come true. It was like, now here we are, K-pop demon hunters. It's like that's literally what was happening, because if you remember, the demon that finally got a hold of her shame or whatever used two demons to take the shapes of her best friends to say a bunch of really mean things to her and bring her down to her lowest. And then it caused a division between her and her best friends, because the Demon King was now talking to them too. And so they even had doubts about themselves and their relationships and all this type of stuff. They were like being forced to face all their worst fears, because that's what the Demon King's purpose was, right? And then Rumi had to come back knowing herself and standing in her truth and being like, no, this is who I am. This is who I am, even with being a half demonic being, because my father was demonic. You know what I'm saying? Which for me, when I say this type of stuff, when I look at that movie, the demonic consciousness to me, because if you look at it, I mean, my father didn't stay around. My biological father did not stay around. I would say that's demonic consciousness, because I think in God's, in universal love and law, however you want to put it, a father naturally wants to stay and help take care of the baby, right? And help take care of this other piece of him. Well, my father didn't. My father chose to leave for a sugar mama, basically. Left my mom, punched her in the stomach when she was 6 months pregnant with me, tried to make her lose me. Like, that's kind of demonic consciousness, if you ask me. So now I'm living this. And so I'm living this movie out, right? And so my best friend Selena, she gives me this energy clearing, and she says it's my best friends, shadow beings, shape-shifting in the form of my best friends, and they're being like really mean to me. They're picking on me. And then it took a while to clear them out of there. And that she cleared some stuff around my heart, which I felt her do. So that's why I know, again, energy healings and clearings are real. I'd felt it around my heart. I actually was holding onto my chest when she was doing that, and I didn't even know that. And so I'm like, okay, well, that's good. I'm glad that she was able to clear that. And so then I wondered to myself, I was like, well, gosh, I'm like, who, if I'm experiencing this, are they experiencing something like that? Are they facing a bunch of fears too? Because I know not only am I doing it, but also my other girlfriends were, and then these other people that I'm talking to are, and these other, like, all the people that I'm close to, they're all telling me about all these major fears, and I'm like, and then I'm kind of like feeling bad because I'm like, damn, did this manifestation ritual like really did it? Is it like it just brought it all up to the surface for everyone like in the community? I'm just like, what the hell is going on here? So, but let's get into the weirder synchronicity. Okay, so my girlfriend Selena tells me this. Okay, and then my daughter wakes up. This was after I dropped my son off at work, and my daughter wakes up and she tells me she had a bad dream. And I'm like, okay, what was it? And she says she had a bad dream that there were there were skinwalkers outside of our house, which immediately I thought, okay, so first there's shadow beings that are shape shifting, okay, just like in the movie K-pop Demon Hunters. And now my daughter, it's almost like she's in seeing this. It's like this is how her mind interpreted the energy. There are skinwalkers outside. And she said that me and her were here together with these skinwalkers outside, and that I went downstairs for some reason and got a piece of chocolate and brought the chocolate back upstairs. Now, if you remember, that is literally what I did while she was sleeping. I went downstairs and I got that Dubai chocolate. So my daughter continues and she tells me that I went and I got this piece of chocolate, I brought it back upstairs, and that then I left her home so that I could go drive somewhere with my sons. And I left her here with the skinwalkers still outside. And that one of the skinwalkers was knocking on the door wanting to come in, and it took the shape and form of Cookie Monster. And my mind at that point is blown because the best friend had sent me a picture of a Cookie Monster towel or something like that of that nature the night beforehand. And my daughter didn't see that one. My daughter didn't. I showed her a picture of this mermaid tail thing that my friend had sent me, but she didn't know that. And so now we got my friend Selena, an energy worker, telling me this, that it was shadow beings and shape shifting. Okay. And then we got my daughter saying they're skinwalkers and they shape shifted into a Cookie Monster, which was what my best friend had sent me a picture of. And not only that, if you stop and think about it, I did leave her to go take my son to work. So it's like part of her was, this is how her consciousness interpreted this stuff, right? Was like, and so now I'm like, damn, is there something really going on? Like what did I trigger something? I'm like, what happened here? I have no idea, like other than me talking about the movie, well, the power of music, the power of the human voice, intention and song, and it totally was my intention to take down some demonic consciousness, to take down a demon king. That was my intention, you know? And so, lastly, well, I also had a dream that night, which was kind of weird. I had a dream that I was watching one of my best friends, and he was watching um, Robert Khalil, the Typical Skeptic podcast. He was like watching it. And I didn't know why, but suddenly I knew like Rob died. Like he just died on the screen, like died. I was like, what in the hell? And the next day I find out that he did have a traumatic experience on his stream and even pulled that stream down. And that was my dream. So we all had nightmares that night. Lastly, I'm going to tell you, this is where I feel like it gets really crazy symbolic. And it is my son David, who has had dreams before from me that were very prophetic. Whenever I'm in his dreams and he comes and tells me, it's like very symbolic, very prophetic dreams that I just have to like kind of decode. So he tells me he had this dream. He said, like, I have to tell you this, Mom. I'm so shooken up. We were in our house, me and him, and he stepped outside, and suddenly a storm was coming of some sort. And the sirens for the storms, they sounded off. And then the sirens shouted out, like, you know how the voice comes over, the emergency broadcasting system comes over and it says stuff, right? And what it was saying to him was, leave now, leave now. And so he came into the house and he was asking me, should we go in the basement? And I basically told him in the dream, no, I feel safer if we stay here in the kitchen. We moved to the kitchen instead of the living room. And so the earth was shaking and the storm was just going outside, just wind and like it literally reminded me of the tower card. It felt like this is a tower moment. Okay, the earth is shaking. And as it was shaking, a glass of some sort, some type of glass. He said he couldn't remember exactly what kind of object it was. But in my mind, the first thing that came to my mind was a honey jar, because I have these honey jars that I save that I'm always like, oh, these are good jars. You know what I'm saying? So I literally will like stockpile these honey jars, but then they just gather dust. I never am going to use those jars. You know what I'm saying? And so the first thing that came to my mind when he said this glass fell down in the kitchen was the honey jar. And so he said, though, I grabbed it, I caught it right before it hit him on the head. And so I saved him from that. I was like, whew. But it didn't stop from another piece of glassware falling down and breaking on the floor. And he cut his foot on it a little bit in the dream. And so I'm like, holy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, what in the fuck is that all about? And then I realized when I was at the 12 retreat, I realized what that was really and why I saw the honey jars. You know what I'm saying? And it was because of a honey jar spell I did. I'm almost positive it was a honey jar spell I did, because if you want someone to be sweeter to you, right? If you want someone, if you want to attract good energy, you write out what you want, right, in the honey jar. And this was back, I did this when me and Braden were still together. I even told him I did it. You know what I'm saying? It was for him and wanting him to right the wrongs, and for us to, I don't even think I put anything about reconcile, just like right the wrongs and be nice to me kind of thing. And I realized that he had done that already, but yet I was keeping that jar. I kept that jar still. I told him, I was like, well, it didn't work. So like, what the like great spell jar didn't even fucking work. But wait a second, no, it did, because the last email he wrote me, he basically did right the wrongs as much as he could. That was, there was nothing else he could do. He couldn't change who he was. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't make it work. And that affected me a lot more than I think that I wanted to admit to. You know what I'm saying? Because, okay, we'll get into that. We'll get into that stream, but put that to the side for a second. So I realized at the 12 retreat, okay, so I need to take that honey jar and open it up and release it and let him go fully, because, well, here's some of the truth that here's me righting some of the wrongs that I feel like that I got wrong, because the truth is I do believe something alchemical happened with him. Like I'd known him for 3 years and there was no desire for me to get into a relationship with him like that, and then suddenly it was like he made me feel safe, and something changed, and that was part of what I had asked for, because I'd had, when I was younger, my first husband, I'll just be real with you guys, I wasn't very attracted to my first husband, but when I fell in love with him, that was when he became handsome to me. You know what I'm saying? And so one of the things I wanted was that same type of thing, because my first husband treated me the best. And so I thought, okay, maybe if it starts off the same like that, it will, like, and I had a whole bunch of other little things that I'd added in there, and I told you guys a lot of them, but that was one of them that I didn't really say, And so I know that he basically watched 2 streams ago, you could say, and he was very unhappy with something that I said in there. Very, very unhappy. And I'm sure he wasn't happy with if he was watching any of the other streams either. And so I don't expect him to be watching this one now, but if he ever does, at least it's out there now, because I lost 1 subscriber that day. And it was the day that Anthony from Canadian Awareness came into my chat. And I given you the example of how, if you want to know what the frequency of strength and power really looks like for divine masculinity, you should look at him. And that really did upset him. And I do think he watched that night, because guess why? Because I had a dream about him watching that night, and my dreams come true. And that's honestly what happens a lot of tonights. But the nights before my stream, I will see certain people and then I'll end up seeing them in the chat. And so I know that that's really what that was standing for. You know what I'm saying? And so I think I was so upset at the time that things had fallen apart and that I'd given my heart to him. And that's going to come up in the ceremony, the ceremonial vision that I had. Okay. So hold on to that for a second. I'd really given my heart to this guy. And I really wanted it to work because it had been so long since I even felt that way about anyone. Oh, we're not crying today, though. We're not crying today. Part of what he got so upset about, no, let me finish this up first. I feel bad that I made him feel like he was replaceable or that I could undo the braid. I truly don't believe I can. I truly don't believe that I could. I think once it started, that it was an unstoppable process, you know, and for me, symbolically, what they've always shown me when it comes to braidens, so to speak, I'll get that symbolically in my dreams through children, through I'll be pregnant and I'll have a baby. And I feel like that was what they were symbolically saying is like, okay, two people mixed, right? And I had this dream and I realized as I was telling the story of the K-pop demon hunters, I finally realized what the dream symbolized and that for me, and I could have said this in the moment, but it's like I always take a minute to process it. I need it. Wow, like it's like they click it here live in front of everyone, and now I'm just like, wow, how do I even take that? And I realized that the Jinyu character was Brayden, and that the dream I had made sense to me now because the Jinyu character, he ends up saving her, just like what Brayden, what he put the golden chain on the black hole. And I think that was symbolically him setting up for me to get rid of this Ward Ampersand character. Okay, but he definitely had some issues with demonic consciousness, which we all do, which is just inverted thinking. And so I'd had this dream that I was holding this baby and it was sad. And I was holding this baby and I said, well, at least now you'll always have a part of them with you. There was a girl with me. There was a woman there with me. I never looked over. I couldn't see her, but I was just holding this baby. And I realized, oh, it's a piece of his soul. It's like, just like Jinyu gave a piece of his soul to Rumi. And so I do feel really bad about making him feel so replaceable. Like I could just undo that. And I know now it was literally just because I was so hurt. I was just so upset that, because here's the thing. And he got, like I said, and I gave you guys the example, he got really jealous of Anthony from Canadian Awareness. Even thought, I'm like, why? Like I don't even understand this. And told you guys, it makes me laugh when a man gets jealous of one that I'm with, it makes me laugh, or it makes me really angry because I only have two choices at that point. I can laugh it off and try to see like, how do I cheer you up from this because it's absolutely absurdity, or I can get furious because the thing that I realize about myself is I'm very sensitive to feeling like my intentions of who I am, my authenticity, when that's not seen, that's what devastates and hurts the worst. I feel like when people like accuse me of something that I'm not doing, or you know what I'm saying? Like accusing me of something just like that I would never do in a million years. You know what I'm saying? But for some reason it can come up in them. And I'm like, I always feel like, haven't I shown myself enough that you should be able to know better than that? And I had told him enough. First of all, me and him weren't even together when I had said this. We weren't even a serious couple yet when I had said this thing to him, which, like I said, he was upset about that. I got really, really bad telepathic review when I did that stream. And it was like someone yelled at me and they were like, did you think that made you look good or something? And I was just like, what the fuck? And usually it's not like that. I'll be real with you guys. Like usually most people, when they're feeling emotional stuff with me, but I lost one subscriber that day and I went and I looked at the list and he was no longer on it. Now he could have unsubscribed before then, but he told me that he would keep himself subscribed for my number count, even when we broke up. And I was like, well, I don't care, but I did, I did. This is like me putting on, like, I'm just going to forget about him. We're just going to undo the braid. Nothing ever happened. But no, that's not the truth. That wasn't the truth. And so part of what I realized that I want to own up to here, and this is what made me so furious, is that, and this is hard for me to talk about, like, and admit to, because menopause changes you. It's like, why couldn't he understand that? I'd explained it to him. And it was the hardest thing forever for me to open up and admit, even. You know what I'm saying? Like, to anyone. It feels like something that I should be embarrassed about, and how things change when you go through the change. And I have spoke a little bit on it, on how hormones really drive your biology. It really does. And for women, you don't realize that until you're either going through pregnancy, really, and then that kind of changes things. But after menopause, it's like when you're still going through fertile phases, your body picks up and senses your genetic compatibility through pheromones, let's say, with other men out there in the world. Okay, so you could be genetically compatible with multiple people, like, and that's gonna like trigger like you're wanting to be intimate with them, right, and to create a baby. Okay, and I remember what that was like. I remember, once a week and a half every month, it would be like I would think about things, and things I would never think about normally, and honestly, things that I would just be like, oh my god, afterward, I'm like, I can't even believe I thought about stuff like that because of who I was at, like, coming into this as a soul braid walk-in. That just, I thought that stuff was gross. Sexuality, gross. I don't ever want to do that. I don't ever want to be required to do that. I'm just not going to do that. But then you have this hormones take over, and it's like, no, that would be a good idea. Yeah, you should do that. That changes. So, like, what was it, the 7 deadly sins? Like, lust is not one that I have to deal with. I do not have to worry about that one. That doesn't even come up in my mind. Like, let's just be real. We live in an age where people do sexting and send nudes and stuff like that. Like, I have absolutely zero desire to do that anymore. And to find someone that I have any type of spark with, I realize now what it is. It's that you have to be compatible on a different level. You have to be compatible, for me, as a postmenopausal woman. I have to be compatible on another level in order to even consider doing that. And that was why Braden was such a miracle when he came around, and I actually felt that way about him, and I felt that way for him. And it was like, oh my God, and I tried to tell him so many times, like, how, like, because for him it was easy. Like, even one of my girlfriends, when we were towards the end, she was like, it just seems like he wants to fuck the world. You know what I'm saying? Sorry to put it like that, but I think a lot of men's sex drives probably does have them being like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't have no problem, no issues with that. And I don't know if that's the same type of change happens for men as they get older. I don't know, because I'm not a man. But at the retreat, I did get to talk to some men, and it does seem like they go through a little bit of something similar. But for me, it feels like opening up to that, like, it was so infuriating afterward when I open up at this great sorrow I have, that, because, like, how am I going to maintain and create an intimate relationship with a man when that is basically like what is required amongst humans, right? That's like, you got to click in that way. Otherwise, it's like, that's part of the intimacy. It's part of how you create intimacy. And I just completely uninterested. And so he was just such a treasure when he came along, and he did not see the value that I had for him. And it's like, it didn't feel like he had that same value for me, because here he was hitting up a girl that he was talking to like that within a week of us breaking up. And it was like, wow, like, it's just so easy for you. And then for him to be jealous of Anthony from Canadian Wares, not that Anthony's not a hot guy. I think he is. I think he's very much has my respect. I look up to him, but I've never thought about him like that inappropriately. I've never thought about him like that. I mean, and maybe you wouldn't even consider it inappropriate if, he's a single guy or whatever, but I I just don't take it there anymore because there's just no desire in me to do that. It's like I have to meet someone in the physical and get used to like and see if there's any even a spark or connection there. And so anytime he would get jealous at the beginning, I would just laugh, and then I started to get mad, and it would be like, and I'm so and there's other people in my life too that will say things to me, and it's like they just literally do not comprehend what a menopause timeline is. They do not get it, and they'll just be like, "Oh yeah, all humans want this. All humans do this. All humans are horny all the time." And it's like, speak for yourself. Speak for yourself, because that's not how it is for me. It's just not how it is for me, guys. And I had I don't know, maybe I had like a feeling that that was going to come eventually one day, or that there needed to be a relationship that was built on something more than that. Because I remember saying to my ex a long time ago, the ex that I was very attracted to, and I had 2 children with him, my son and my daughter, and that was literally our greatest connection, was a sexual connection. And I remember telling him one day, I was like, what are you going to do if things change in the future? If we don't have a connection that's deeper than that? And that's literally what ended up happening. I ended up like that. I went through a lot of other changes, and that was his main complaint, was that I was unwilling to do that. So I didn't feel safe with him at all. He didn't ever address any of the traumas that I went through with him. And so it had to kind of fall away. And so I know, like, it's not that the sex drive doesn't work when I don't want to scare women. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say like, oh, you're never going to want to have sex ever again. It's not how it is. When I was with Braden and I loved him and we had that connection, it was great. The sex drive was there. It was like, wow, restored to life. Right. But I knew how rare that was. And I can't tell you how many times I had to, if he did get jealous every now and then, I had to like really just be like, that is not how it is for me. It's like, why don't people want to believe that? I don't understand. Like, I know that people are in a different place, but if I'm telling you this is what it's like for me, why am I bothering to tell you at all if you're not even going to believe me? Because that's really what it came down to. You know, I really thought it was going to work out with him. I really did believe that. I even, I remember when me and him were still together, and I was pulling tarot cards, and that 10 of Cups would come up. And I remember me and him were watching Outlander together, and I kept saying, like, I kept noticing now for the first time, this hair piece made from a key. Okay. That was what they got married with in the show, was the stem from the key, and so here's the thing. When I thought that, and I realized something, because this past summer, I bought a key. I bought 2 keys, actually. I didn't know it was gonna. Well, I mean, I thought they were gonna be small keys. You know what I'm saying? They just looked really cool. I only really needed one for the gift, but since I had a second one, I gave it to Braden, and he told me to keep it here. So because it was ours together, and so I had it on my manifestation shelf. And look at it. Oh, this is the key. This was Braden and mine's key. And I don't know. I really thought that it was going to work out and that it was going to change and turn around, and it didn't. And now I go back, and once you get past that, once you get past the anger, you end up in a place like where I'm at now, where I'm like remembering the love, and that's what I'm going to choose. That's what I'm going to choose to hold on to. And that's what I always want to hold on to, is the love, because I think love is the gift. I'm very angry still. Am I? Am I angry still? To a certain extent, yeah. Not really at him, just at the situation, disappointed in general, because but this is part of my belief system that I need to change if I want to open up. And that's what I did. That's what I feel like this is when that started, is when I finally something clicked in me, and it was like, oh, open up these other timeline possibilities like that. I thought, oh, none of that wouldn't be possible. Like, well, for instance, let's say you're saying with Anthony. You know what I'm saying? I would never consider that it would be a possibility for me to be with a man like that because of how I felt about myself. Someone that I'm really like just attracted to and respect them and like all the good things, on the same level intelligence wise as me, emotional intelligence, the healing. Like some part of me didn't believe that I really deserved that, or I wouldn't keep attracting the same type of situation. I figured that out. And so I had to realize, okay, no, I have to change that belief. I have to tell myself, no, why wouldn't I deserve that? Well, if there's anything around me that makes me feel like I don't deserve that, and I think there's things that I need to do in order. It's like if you want a higher caliber partner, then you need to be a higher caliber partner as well. You need to have that to offer. And so I was like, well, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to delve back into myself, and I'm going to start working on myself again. Because, and here's part where I messed up. I forgot to add this. Neville Goddard. Turns out Neville Goddard was a dancer. That was part of how he used manifestation, was song and dance and imagination, and then the whole putting yourself in that state, and this is what I already am. I'd never heard that before up until recently. I'd never heard that Neville Goddard was a dancer, and it made me cry so hard because I was like, holy shit, I was really doing stuff with this music and this dancing, and I started to doubt myself because I had all this interference. I felt all this negative self-talk come through, wherever the fuck it's coming from. And I realized, and I had stopped. I stopped dancing. I stopped having time to do it. I stopped having the energy and the effort. And it's like, it's not that the miracles stopped happening, but it's like I stopped putting my best effort out there. And to top it off, what did they tell me? They told me at the beginning, when my sacred marriage to God happened, okay, and I united with myself here, my genetic equal, and got all of the codes that I needed back. And they told me that to ignite the heart of the blue fairy, that they would make, in her purpose and making people's dreams come true, that the first thing, in order to ignite that, what they would have to do is make all her dreams come true first, right? And they did. I realized that. You know what I'm saying? Like they really did. I got everything I wanted. I got the love feeling. I wanted the space to be made for me, right? It was like I got the friendship that I wanted that was there, and I felt pretty stable and secure in all of that until this past couple of weeks or so, and everything just feels like it's like I literally felt like I went through a tower moment. But guess what? At the end of my son's dream, in that tower moment, my tower still stood. My house didn't get destroyed or anything like that. Like it was still there. And you know what else is really just a weird little synchronicity to add? That when I got home, I was sweeping my floor and I found bits of broken glass on my floor. And it was the same day that I took down all the honey jars that I had been saving, and I undid the spell jar, and I finally threw all those things away, and I was sweeping up, and there was glass on the floor. And so it made me feel like, okay, so this is it. This is that moment, because the same thing happened with other dreams that my son David has brought me. And so I'm trying to think, was there anything else that I wanted to, the ceremonial vision. Oh yeah. So we're going through this storm, okay? The storm is upon us, Sorry, I like it sometimes that just like, it was beaten into you so much that it's just like, oh man, when you hear about storms now, I hear that, So I was really in this storm, okay? And so the ceremony that we did with Jennifer and Brian and the drumming circle and all the Native American songs that they played as we visualized the woman coming around and taking everything that we no longer needed and putting it into the black hole. I actually had a vision during it, and it really moved people when I spoke the vision out loud, and I really wasn't expecting that from Jennifer and Brian, especially Jennifer. And what I saw was a white deer. Saw a white deer with white antlers in the forest, and I could even see it's like fuzzy antlers, so they were new. And the sun was shining behind them, and then it transformed into a man, and this man was like hanging on this tree, not upside down or anything. He's just like he was crucified. He was crucified, and I'm just kind of like, that's kind of weird. And so I spoke it out loud to everyone, and we were all sharing what we felt about the ceremony. And so Jennifer told me that the message that she got was, oh yeah, because that was the other thing. It felt like something got returned to me. Suddenly after the ceremony, I felt this warmness inside my chest, and it felt like someone put like a heating pad over top me. It's like something that was gone in here got filled back up, and it was warm and it was nice, and I just felt safe and love inside my heart. And so she told me, and this is crazy because she didn't know anything about my story, and she told me, um, don't give your heart away. Like don't just give your heart away. You don't just give it away to anyone, you know. Now what she didn't know is that the symbology of giving your heart to someone and having them give their heart to you, me and Braden actually had something like that, because you know how I am with characters and shows and everything like that. And one of the characters I gave him a long time ago, before we ever even became uh, a couple or interested in each other, I guess you could say, for me anyway, was for some reason Spirit always gave him like really deep and meaningful characters, and it always kind of baffled me because it's like, why are you telling me to give him these really like big characters? I don't even see how that's possible, at this point with how I'm feeling. And he lives all this far away, and we like he can't ever get his passport to come. It took him like 2 years just to get that together so that he could come to the conference and meet me for the first time. And then he totally blew it up by being all demand, because that was the thing. That was the reason that I told him to study Anthony's frequency or whatever, was because when we weren't even together, he was making all these demands, and I need you to do this, like all these demands of like what you would ask a girlfriend, and we weren't yet. And I was just like, how dare you, like, no, like. And some of the things he said was just like, absolutely not. And who are you to me at this point? We don't even know each other. We haven't even met in person. And I blocked him and all this stuff. And so finally I'm like, but yet, Spirit's giving me these big characters for him. Okay. And one of the characters they gave me was from Westworld, and it was the Native American in it. And turns out, he's Native American. And this character in the show Westworld, he was originally, what do you call them? The robots, I guess you could say. His original character was part of a couple. Okay, and he lived a peaceful life in a tribe with family and friends. And whenever he would leave his beloved, they would say to each other, like, he'd be like, I'm leaving now, so I'm going to leave my heart with you. And she would say, take mine in its place. And so that was part of one of the things that I'd shared with him when we were together, was like that meaning. And so I realized, okay, so I got rid of the war and ampersand, got my heart returned to me. Again, I really think that Braden helped me figure all that out. We did the Braden. I have a piece of him here with me now, always, because it's not the first time I've had that symbology come through. I've had it a couple times, like 3 other times, twice with one person, and then once with the trucker guy. But that baby ended up looking like a demon, like a literal demon. It was very, very strange. And yes, so in that ceremony, that was when I basically feel like I got my heart, a piece of my heart returned to me. And it was just deeply meaningful. And so I looked it up. Even I was like looking up the symbology of a white deer. And there was actually two saints that had had the same vision. Two saints, Saint Herbert and Saint Eustace. And they were out hunting, I think, in both situations. They were out hunting and they came across a pure white deer. And then in the deer's antlers was a crucified Jesus. And so I thought, well, that is very, very interesting, like symbology there, the purity of it. I think that part of what I had to come and reconcile, which has been really hard for me to do because I'm very, from my childhood wounding and stuff like that, I'm very hyper vigilant to try and I just want people to see me. I want them to see that I'm a good person. I want them to see that I have pure intentions and that I'm coming from a good place. And I just really have had to come to realize and accept that I that people are going to be affected by their own life experiences and their own distortions. And that it's not like I can't always rely on it, but it's like it's not a requirement. People are going to not be able to see you sometimes, and I have to be okay with that. I have to know who I am still. Like if I went through that tower moment, right, and I know who I am still. My tower stands. I put the keystone in place. I told you guys that, like, well, new people. I've been telling you guys this. Like, I know and who and what I am, and now it's like I've reached the end of a cycle. I definitely have reached the end of a cycle because they made all my dreams come true. They made all my dreams come true. I feel fulfilled in that way, but now I know there's more. Now I know it's time to step up for the bigger mission, which the bigger mission is helping people unlock and identify their subconscious beliefs, their self-limiting beliefs, so that way we can break them and we can manifest better for ourselves, because the real authentic people need to know these keys. They need to have these keys in order to get the attention that they deserve and to be able to affect more of the collective human consciousness so that we can actually make real change, not just for our own betterment, but for all of us, considering we're all one being. What helps one helps all in a way. So this is the next part of my mission. So like I said, I've just been asking God for more signs and synchronicities, and they have still been coming in. They're still coming in. My guides still talk to me. I've been going up and down when it comes to my emotional state. I will say that, like I definitely have been, but I know that I'm not the only one going through it. And so I just have been putting out prayers for everyone, that whatever fears you're facing, that you're able to overcome them, and that you're able to figure that out, and that you're able to now lift yourself up into a better, higher timeline of love and joy for your soul's growth and expansion. I'm saying that now because anyone who's hearing it, like we're frequency, like I said, we're tuning forks. You just coming and sitting with me, you even being attracted to my voice and my presence tells me that we're already somewhat in alignment. So if this sounds like a plan to you, I hope that you'll continue to follow me, and I hope that you'll continue to come and listen to me and sit in my presence. I honor you for that. I appreciate you for that. I'm sorry I have had to completely ignore the chat for this past time. I hope my mods are taking care of whatever's going on in here, because I just really had to. I have no notes written down, so I was really just kind of flying from the seat of my pants here. Yes, there was a lot for me to feel bad about. It's almost felt like, and if any of you are into Rick and Morty, which I love Rick and Morty, it really has felt like the episode, season 7, the last episode of this season, called Fear No Mort, where there's this fear hole. Well, first of all, I'll just explain it real quick, and then we'll go on to the tarot card pull and the fortune cookie pull. This is what it's felt like what I've been in lately. Okay. In this episode, Rick and Morty, they've been through so much together and they go to this nightmare park and nothing scares them anymore. And so this man approaches them. It kind of looks like a Twilight Zone type of man. And he's like, I heard you were into fear. You know, you want to try something fearful? And they're like, yeah, well, yeah. And he drives them to a Denny's. And Rick and Morty are like, what the fuck? Why are we at a Denny's? Like, if you wanted to go out to eat, you could have just asked, guy, you know? And the guy's like, no, come on in. So they come in and they sit down, and Rick and Morty, they order food, and they're like, what the hell is this guy's game? Like, what's so scary about this? And the waiter says, okay, so if that's all you want, just so you know, the hole is in the bathroom. And they're like, hole? And they're like, yeah, he said, I figured you're either here for the food or the hole. And so they run into the bathroom, and there's just this hole in the ground, and it's got like, it looks like these like black tentacle things coming out of it. And there's a cork board on the side, and it's for Polaroid, for pictures of people who actually passed the fear hole, who managed to succeed in going in there, facing their greatest fears and getting out of it. And there was even a VHS tape, and they play this little, like, the Twilight Zone guy. He has this whole little like intro and explaining to you what the fear hole is. And he basically says that he's the type of alien who feeds off your fears. He's like, like those type of like fish that like eat the dead skin off of another fish. He's like, that's kind of how our entities are, like when we feed off of your fears. So but after we're done, you'll be clean. You know what I'm saying? Just like those cleaning fish help those other fish when they clean off that dead skin. They're like, we'll clear you of your fears, basically. But what he has to do is they have to jump into the fear hole. And so Morty, they're like, we're not going to do this. I don't even know about this. So they start to leave, but Morty runs back and he jumps in. And that is when it gets crazy. And at first he thinks, oh my God, I just, that was the craziest. It was like a black, almost like a black hole. And there's just crazy monsters and stuff around. And Rick gets in there and he's holding a gun and it disappears. And he's like, oh, so that's funny. The fear hole thinks that I'm afraid of not having a gun to fight or whatever. Anyway, he grabs Morty and they climb out of the fear hole. And they go back home, and it takes them a while, but then they realize, because Rick's dead wife, who was erased from with Omega device, erased from literally every timeline in every existence. This is what drove his character, and you find this out as the seasons go on. His dead wife is there, and as soon as he sees his dead wife, he's like, oh shit, we're still in the hole. We're still in the fear hole. And so they start. So they just keep living, though, because he wants to see what his wife is like now at this point. He like wants to explain things. This is like an opportunity for him. And so they go through these series of things where Morty basically is like, we need to get out of the fear hole because it's killing you. It's like sucking his life dry. And so he ends up taking up enough, like conquering all these fears that he has. Like he's just figuring out fear. Like you got a fear of like a spider crawling on you, and he like eats the spider. It's like just fear. So he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna get out of this fear hole. And so he keeps going until the very end, okay, where they keep jumping out of the fear hole, and they're like, okay, we're definitely out of the fear hole now, right? And at one point you think you're definitely out of the fear hole, and then 30 years down the road, Morty looks in the mirror and he's like, oh my God, I'm becoming my dad. And boom, he's back climbing out of the fear hole. And he's like, oh my God, when are we ever going to get out of this fear hole? It took forever. Like it took forever, but eventually he figured out that actually it was a one-person ride. And his biggest fear was losing Rick and having to rely on Rick for everything. And Rick never jumped in the hole with him. Rick was never real. None of that stuff was ever real. And the Twilight Zone guy comes back on and he's like, you were very delicious. Your reliance on Rick and your fear of losing him was a very much delicious. Thanks for coming to the fear hole or whatever. And so, Rick is finally the real Rick. He's out there and he's just like, how was it? He's like, you don't want to do it. He's like, trust me, there was fucked up shit in there. You don't want to go in there and see it. But this episode it's so fascinating because, it's like testing the reality every time. Like he's like, maybe one of your biggest fears is of the hole itself, and he throws them back in there. And sure enough, it is. And then one of Rick's greatest fears supposedly was paying $8 for a side of bacon. And like they're climbing out of the fear hole again. So anyway, that is what I feel like I've been doing I've just been confronting all these fears of mine and realizing who I still am inside and the love that I still have and the connections that I am still capable of making. And, and realizing it's all a matter of changing my mindset and figuring out what those things really are. And I will, there is some tips that I'm going to be able to give, but I don't have those down yet because I'm still kind of learning some of those tips. I'm still kind of downloading that, but I will share them with you guys. Okay, later on. All right, sorry, chat. I'm sorry that I have ignored the chat for so long, but I was really afraid I was going to start having heart palpitations again, like I did the last time, and so yeah, I didn't want that to happen. So I kind of was just here talking. But let's go ahead, and I will go back and I'll read the things that y'all said. Hold on, I'm going to start reading them. I'm going to start reading them now a little bit. Okay, I might have sent you a thing of that clip. A clip of that show, Victor. I might have. Mhm. Mhm. Yep. 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 Yes. Wow. Okay. Chat's been good so far. I got from Victor. Good. Helios. Let me see. I feel like I recognize your name. Okay, hold on. During my exorcist dreams the other day, a white elephant appeared in my dream and helped me dispel it. Amazing Wow, a white elephant is actually very powerful. That's Ganesha, I'm pretty sure. That um, could be represented by Ganesha, the Indian or Hindu god. I'm pretty sure, or it was the Buddha. It was one of those two beings that were represented by the white elephant. Definitely look that up. It's very symbolic. That's really beautiful. That's a really beautiful synchronicity. Okay. Yes, I see you, Miss White Swan. Okay, sorry, the comment. Men want to be the woman's first, and women want a man to be their last. Yes, exactly. Yes. Mhm. Oh, hi there, Susan. Oh, did you leave? Did Susan leave? Sorry, I know I was taking a bit long. I've been going for an hour and a half now, but isn't that my usual? So again, let's thank the energy of the egg, and let's thank the energy of my key, because this is what I'm trying to do. This is symbolic, right? This is symbolic for me to unlock something bigger. Okay, I'm trying to unlock shit for us. That way I can share us. I can share my knowledge. I can share my information. I just think it's also super fucking cool. I don't know why, but I honestly thought these were going to be small keys. I got two of them, right? But I gave the cooler one away because it was the reason for buying them at all. It was the gift. And but yeah, I mean, how sweet is that? I just love keys. I've always collected antique keys and stuff like that. But I thought these were going to be a lot smaller. I thought they were going to be like that big. Okay. And that's all I really wanted. I just wanted like small, because that's symbolically what I wanted the gift to represent, was that here I'm giving you a key and spirit will know what to do with it. You'll know what to do with it. I kind of look at that as a key to my tower. That's kind of what I looked at it as. It's the key to our own tower, which our tower is just our belief system. You know what I'm saying? So clearly there are some beliefs that needed to be cleaned out when it comes to maybe finite details, little tiny things, because otherwise I wouldn't be having all these fears come up. But it works with the law of assumption. All the fears coming up when you ask for something new and you actually shift, you get a pushback and a big old wave of oh yeah, this is what well, let's print. It's like, okay, it's like they compare it to like a 3D printer. It's like, let's say you're 3D printing something out and it takes a while, right? And then you put in the queue, okay, well now I want to make this. Okay, and then you put in the queue, okay, now I want to make that. But let's say, like the things that it's already printing that are already in the queue are the things that you believe about yourself that are self-limiting. It still has to finish printing those out. The queue is still exists. So those thoughts, it's like it takes a while for things to manifest in your reality, because instantaneous manifestation um is, it's just not really, I mean, to it, like if I could just think something into existence, which I'm sure on some level, like some other spiritual level, that's possible, but that's just not possible in the 3D here. You can't, it's not instantaneous manifestation. You have to set the intention, the desire, you know, the belief, you get that all going, put the request into the 3D printer, so to speak. Okay, well, it still has to finish printing out all those other old things. So it's like, all, like that's what's been happening for me and my girlfriends. And we have to. The only thing we can do is just not give up and not fall back and be loyal to the new mindset that we have chosen to take. That is what you have to do. Once you decide you're going to change in a certain way, they're going to push back and try to be like, well, but that's not the comfortable dysfunction is what you know. You know, you should stay in that. Don't you want to stay in that? Because it's, I've been telling you guys, it's been so uncomfortable. It's been so uncomfortable to sit in the unknowing of what it's going to be like. But I want something better for myself. I don't want to repeat that same old relationship pattern that I had. And without, you know, and that's the other thing I want to say real quick. Here's the thing. If I had been given everything I wanted, like anything a human want, like, okay, I'm like, suddenly I get the relationship of my dreams, I have the home of my dreams, I have my bank account full, I have all this stuff that I want right here, right now. It's like it makes it so you don't push to develop your abilities. You know what I'm saying? Things that are natural inside you. You know, so for me, the limitations I've had for these past since my soul braid walking, the limitations, okay, pushed me to develop my psychic skills to see what was real, what could I do, what was I capable of. If I hadn't had that, if I never would have delved so deep into my own self. I never would have done as much experimenting as I had if I just, because I wanted to prove to myself what God, you're saying all these things to me, then let me see that it's real. Let's go ahead and let's practice and let's try. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful that they offered me up that opportunity. You know, like, I know what I'm capable of, and I'm going to keep stepping into that power more, because I do believe that not only am I a powerful being, but I think that we are all very powerful beings, and that has been the biggest secret that they have kept from all of us, is how truly powerful of creators and manifestors we are. And it's like, yes, you say that on one level, but you can't understand it until you start using it and start practicing it, putting it into practice to prove it to yourself. Because they have put these chains on us, and the only way to get out of them is to start breaking them, you know, with actual effort. Okay. Changing those beliefs. It's all in the mind. I'm telling you, being a magician is all about the tools that you have in your mind and how you are able to use those, and how do you know how to wield those tools. All right. Good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to pull the fortune cookie, which, by the way, when I was at when I was out door dashing the other day, when I came back from my trip, and I was like, God, I need a good fortune cookie. And I was at this store delivering when they have a jar of them. And I took it. And I was like, because I feel like I'm going through this tower moment, right? And I'm like, okay, who am I? What's left after this shaking happens? And the fortune I got was 2 feet planted firmly on the ground are unshakable. So I was like, okay, I need to be grounded. That's what it is. And that is what us, even astrologically, Neptune moving out of Pisces, I feel like that is what it's mainly done for us. It is allowed for dreams that we've had lofty dreams of. It is allowed for that grounding to come in for us to be able to make those dreams a reality. And so now I'm just asking God, since all of the dreams that I really wanted, they came true, they happened. So now, show me, God, you know, show me a bigger dream. Show me a bigger dream, and how that's possible. Because I know it's possible, but what would be the best? You know, I'm hearing a Muse song, Butterflies and Hurricanes. Gotta be the best. Now is the time. Okay. So let's go ahead and pull a fortune cookie. And just clear the energy. What does the collective need to hear? Everyone listen to me now, in the future. Oh, it's one of these two. It's one of these two. So, tell me which one. There it is, this one. It's this one. It's this one, guys. Okay, what does the collective need to hear? What does the universe? Yeah. There we go. Oh, hold on. I gotta take a little nibble in order to make sure it comes true, right? Okay. You're never too old to set a new goal or dream a new dream. Yeah. You're never too old to set a new goal or dream a new dream. That's really what I've been asking for. So that's funny how that worked. It worked out. That was the right fortune for us to take. And I just want to say thank you to everyone for being here. And all the people who've been participating in the chat as I went through it with y'all. Let's go ahead and pull the tarot cards for today, and then I'm going to end the stream. If you have any questions, though, you can put them in the chat, since I'm actually reading the chat now. Kind of. Okay. Wow, cosmic water stories. That's amazing. She's they said, sorry, I can't see the picture. Close here. They said, I have 5,000 friends on Facebook, and I have gravitated to like 4 of you, and 2 of you are in here. That is so funny. That really tells you something. You know what I mean? Yes. Yes, we know, Miss White Swan. I see that. I do. I love men. You know what I'm saying? I really do. I feel, honestly, I have some of the strongest connections that I could have with men, and in friendships. And, I hope that doesn't dissuade anyone from wanting to see if there is a connection, since I am single. You know what I'm saying? I hope that I didn't scare anyone off with that, because like I said, like when it's right, and it's right, and I can tell, but there needs to be that spiritual, emotional connection now, more than just being able to be genetically connected. And honestly, that's the biggest part of why me and that trucker, that relationship kind of fell apart, was because I went through menopause when I first got with him. And honestly, I thought to myself, I'll be real with you and just like blunt here. I thought I would have an issue with that because I was still fertile. And so I'd have those times of the month where it'd be like, okay, we can still be together. We'll be intimate in that way. But once I went through menopause, I was like, absolutely not. I was like, gross. I don't want to do that anymore. Like, there's that, well, at least not with him. Like at the time, I was like the sex drive is just completely, it was like, where did you go? Like I didn't know if it was just because I was scared or going through anxiety, but it was mainly, it's hormonal. It's what happens, and I heard actually it changes the brain. It changes the neurological way that the brain works, in a way that is comparable, that it changes a woman's brain geared more towards leadership. And that's why in the tribal community, women who were past the age of menopause, they were the ones that ended up being the midwives. They're the ones that ended up being the leaders, the ones that people that would go to for advice, because your brain literally sets you up. It's the same way that when a woman gets pregnant, you know what I'm saying? Like her brain also changes, and it has all these new neurons that form, because it's like preparing her to have to take on the role of being a mother. You know what I'm saying? And so that the brain power it has to work in a little bit of a different way. And so now here I am, hormonally affected menopausal woman preparing for leadership. And that's why I'm out here. Maybe that's even why I started this. You never know. Maybe that was what did it and pushed it. Okay, but let's go ahead and clear the cards and the energy. Please subscribe to my channel if you're watching this by chance somehow. I could definitely use the support, and give this a thumbs up if you could. That would really appreciate that. If you would like a reading from me, you can go to my new website, auroradiamondheart.com. If one of my mods could put that in the chat, that would be great. Also, if one of my mods could put, if you can find the Mind Nexus petition address and put that in the chat. I really want to be supportive of the people I met. Like even Alex and Victoria, I absolutely love and adore them. You know what I'm saying? Like they are one of the cutest couples. And I can just tell, like they have that belief in themselves. And that is part of, that was part of what I introduced myself as. I'm like, you guys have keys that I need. And so I'm here to learn from you. But the people I connected to the most though was Brian and Jennifer, and Chief Golden Light Eagle and the Astral and oh yeah. He immediately like, so my name? No, I heard you. Yes. So I never even met him in person, but I can tell he was an absolute gem and a wonderful man. I've heard so many good things about him through Brian, who was really like his successor, and yeah, I really hope the best for them and their community. I pray for us and our community. I pray for all the people watching now and in the future that this card reading resonates with you on some level. I ask that Spirit give us cards that are easy to understand and clear to define. Since we are going into the next week is our Christmas holiday. God, what is it? Asking the higher selves here. What message is it that we need to hear? Oh, snap. So what message do we need to hear? One more shuffle. I realize now, I think it's kind of loud when I shuffle. I think I kind of do it next to my mic sometimes. I never watch my streams. That was what I was getting ready to say. My clips. I've been doing shorts now with the Opus program. It's such an easy program to use. I couldn't believe it. I haven't really done any new ones, but my daughter really inspired me. And so I've been doing these shorts, and honestly, it has gotten me some more subscribers. And a lot of views. And so I'm like, wow, it's really cool. And I ended up doing a bunch of clips of my most popular episode, which was my most popular stream, which was about the OA, and it was crazy because it was brutal. Honestly, it was fucking brutal having to listen to myself on these clips because I never rewatch my streams. I just don't. I put it out there and that's it. Oh my God, it's Jennifer. I've been talking about you so much. Not so much, but I've been talking about you a lot. Yes, I have. I just got done talking about you guys and how I connected to you guys so much. But anyway, back to what I was saying. What was I even saying now? I'm just excited to see you here. Okay. Oh yeah, it was brutal. It was fucking brutal. I don't rewatch my streams. And in order to pick the clips that I wanted to post as shorts, I had to actually stop and listen to myself. And when I did, on some of them, I was just like, oh, wow. I actually don't sound as bad as I think I sound after the stream. And I'm like, oh, God, why did I say that? Why did I say this? And I was like, wow, I can see why people resonated with that one, So I'm going to do my best to try and create more shorts and stuff like that to bring people in, because I realize that the attention span of people is a lot smaller than it used to be. And so, I mean, even me, I'm addicted to watching shorts a lot too. I do like longer broadcasts, when I'm driving and everything like that. But sometimes, like when you're bored, you just want to sit there and doom scroll through those shorts. So definitely highly recommend the Opus program. It was very, very easy to use. You just put the link in to whatever it is that you watched, and it will literally create the clips for you, and then it will even create the hashtags for you, which I think that was the main thing that I found out was the hashtags really do get you somewhere, you know? But anyway, let's go ahead and do a reading for the collective. Okay, no, this is it. This is it. It's shuffled. Here we go. Just the collective reading here. 1, 2, and 3. Well, that was the loud part when I do that thing when I was watching back. It's like, oh shit, that's loud. You know what? We're just going to pull all 3 cards first, and then I'm going to go over them. What is the message? 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Okay. A triple. Okay. So we're only gonna look. You know what? We're not gonna look at that bottom of the deck because fuck that bottom of the deck. I'm so tired of it. Okay. All right. The first card that we got for our tarot reading for the collective coming up here in the holiday season, right, is we got the Ace of Swords. So this is about a timeline shift opportunity. This is about being able to express and communicate in a new way, but not just like with your words. It's also going to be like, I love the way my camera just flies all around here, but okay. So you're going to want to, this isn't just about the words you choose. It's about the inflection in your voice. It's about the body language that you're holding, you know, all the things that come along with communication. I'm feeling like even telepathically, you know what I'm saying? Like we could be going up to the next level. I feel like humanity is kind of going up to the next level when it comes to telepathy, and we're all getting our thoughts a lot more than what we realize. I know I've certainly picked up on that as of recently, like how much I doubted that myself when it came to telepathic communications. It's like now I'm starting to notice more and more and more. Like even when I'll give you an example. When I was at the 12/12 retreat and I was sitting there and I was talking to Brian, okay, and he was talking about Chief Golden Light Eagle, and and Chief Golden Light Eagle was there with us, and he was saying something, and he was literally like he started to say something, and after he said the thing, like Brian literally took over and was saying, like it was like he was like, you know, he's saying da 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 da, and then Brian was like and da 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 da, you know. So it was like, okay, so telepathy, this is like real. Like I get really strong telepathy. I'm just a very telepathic being, but I think that all of us are being upgraded in that way. Okay, so it's about timeline shift where we have all upgraded to more telepathic communication. So watch your thoughts. Know what you're thinking. Because people get bad thoughts from you. Like if you think and feel bad things, they're going to get those too. I get them. You know what I'm saying? After streams where I say things that maybe it upsets someone, you know, I get the message, you know? So just be aware because you want to be innocent. You want to come from a pure place when it comes to the thoughts that you're having. Don't just let your thoughts run wild. You know, you got to pluck that. Like your mind is a garden. You want it to be a rose garden or you want it to be full of weeds. It's your responsibility and it's your job to pluck those negative thoughts out of you, whether they're negative thoughts about yourself or negative thoughts about other people. But let me tell you something, those negative thoughts you have towards other people and those judgments you have towards other people all originate in yourself. They're just a mirror. We're all just mirrors for each other. You know, and so when it comes to knowing yourself, you know what I'm saying, and realizing that people will literally show you that those core beliefs that I'm talking about, those self-limiting beliefs, like God gives you opportunity to know yourself through other people, through every person that you interact with on every level. So this is the first energy. So I mean, we are going to be going into the holidays and spending time with other people, so just be aware of that stuff. Just know that how you speak is going to be very much important right now. And it's like, even being flexible. You see that the swords are they're being bent over here. Like, be flexible with what it is that you communicate, what it is that you're receiving from communications. Like, open your heart, open your mind. Okay, because that's what the rose represents to me. Those white roses is pure consciousness, and it's like a connection of some sort when it comes to pure intentions and consciousness. Okay, so the next card we got, though, is the Four of Pentacles. Okay, so as you can see, this is about groundedness, being grounded. This guy is fucking got his feet on the ground. He's holding on to, he's got this energy around his heart. Okay, it could speak to needing a clearing. I'm not really getting that, though. I just get this feeling because this is not a crisis card. This guy is comfortable. He's good. He's surrounded by the things that he needs. It's like this would be like me in my tower, I feel like. You know what I'm saying? We got the groundedness of the 2 feet right here, which would be like the Earth Star chakra, the heart, and then the mind. Look, it's opened up. The mind is open. The crown chakra is open. And it's using that pentacle energy, which is grounded energy, which is real in the physical, doing things that here in the physical, like it is, you're comfortable, so to speak, you know? The only thing is you have to be careful not to hold on too tightly to things that maybe you don't no longer need. Like, and that is what I've really been going into with myself, is just looking around and seeing how much stuff that I have a hard time letting go of and getting rid of. Like, for instance, the jars, all the honey jars that I talked about earlier. Okay, so like getting rid of all of those things, like, but it's going to take time, and that's okay, because that's what Pentacles energy is. It's slow moving. It's like it takes a while to get that ball rolling, but once it does, it's going to be okay. Like, for others out there that might feel a resonance towards this, feeling like you're holding on to something too tight, or like maybe you do need a clearing in the heart, and then maybe you feel a little bit foggy or blocked up. You might want to do something, if you have any type of affirmations or sound healings that you do, that clear the space of the heart, the head, and the root chakra. But for me, as the collective reading, I'm just not getting that feeling from my guides that that's what specifically most of us are actually hearing out here. But then we got this guy. We got the devil. The devil card showed up, which I really, I almost want to get the other tarot deck, just because whenever I look at this devil card, it doesn't resonate with me as much as the other one does, because the other one shows the chains. You know what I'm saying? So this one doesn't show the chains, and that's the biggest thing, is I think the devil card is what they're trying to show you is, where are you limiting yourself? Where are those self-limiting beliefs? Like, you need to, okay, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to mix them up with the other ones here now, because we got the new way of speaking towards one another. We got the Four of Pentacles, which is like being grounded. And then we got something that we're doing to ourselves. It's something we're doing to ourselves. Okay, so you have to look and see what it is. What are those things? Okay, it also speaks on, I remember Jennifer Constantine, one time she was talking about the devil card, and it could mean like enjoying sensual pleasures, enjoying the body, and considering we're about to be going into the holiday season and gathering and family dinners and groups and stuff like that. It's like, it's okay to enjoy your body. It's okay to overindulge a little bit and maybe overeat and everything like that. Like, this is not a crisis. Like, they're not asking you to do anything that's going to shake things up really, really bad, so to speak. Just know what's yours. What I'm hearing is like, know what's yours. Know what is yours. Okay. And I think that will be it for our 3-card pull, because like I said, I really, oh God, part of me wants to do it though. I mean, we got the devil card already. It's like endings. Let's just say there's an ending. let's just say that an ending has happened, and now it's good. Everything is good because you hit rock bottom. Okay, we've hit rock bottom with something. Okay, and so now the only way, the only place to go is up. And it kind of reminds me of that sliding scale example I gave you guys. It's like, before we were existing at that 3.9 to 4.9 frequency, and then the manifestation and everything that's had all the astrology and stuff like that, it's like it shifted us up to the next level. And so that would be like the bottom. We're at the bottom of it now so that we can climb up higher. Yes. Yes. Wait, hold on. I feel like I've hit rock bottom. I have too, honestly. I feel like I have too, at least when it comes to sifting through all the things, seeing like, okay, well, which part, like I said, which part, where was I being influenced by this entity that wanted to feed off my fears, so to speak? Like the Rick and Morty episode, it felt like that's what that entity was there doing, and it wanted me to be afraid. It wanted me to go to those places, but for a long time I was really good at not, and it was only when things started to change in the school I was a part of with the Earth Star Healer, something shifted in her, and then I couldn't vibe with her anymore. And we kind of shifted out of each other's lives. And that's what will happen naturally when either, you learn each other's lessons, the lessons that you need to learn from each other, right? Or whatnot. It just kind of felt like she kind of kicked me out, honestly. Like, not out of the school or anything, but just like out of her life. Because I was in a different place and I was no longer consistent and reliable as a moderator for her. And being at the school, I was late to class. I was missing classes all the time. So hold on. Okay. Oh yeah. Someone is saying, are you asking about my website, Jennifer? Okay. Oh no, what's going on? Mind Nexus takes you to Cosmic Clarity website. Certainly seems to resonate. What? Okay. But without the confirmation, I don't know. Okay, you know what? Wonder if I can look that up real quick. I really want to make sure you guys get it. Yeah, the Mind Nexus website. Jennifer knows what I'm talking about. I really want that for people to be able to sign that. So let me go here. I am just going to be typing this real quick. Mind Nexus. I don't know if it was like .org or .com. So we're just going to go ahead. Maybe it was a .org. I feel bad not knowing what it was off the top of my head here, guys. No, that definitely is not it. That is definitely okay. So there it is, exposing my Nexus Live. There it is. I think. Yep, I found it. I found it, guys. It's cosmicclarityconnections.org. So it does look like you were right, Miss White Swan. Pretty sure that was you that said that, right? Yes, sign the petition, guys. Yes, here, let's go ahead and paste that in the chat. And I'm pretty sure that it will guide you also to, hi there, Heidi. I'm pretty sure it will guide you to the medicine that they got. That is like, it will loosen the nanotechnology so that you no longer vibrate as a Wi-Fi router. Yeah. Oh yeah, there you go, White Swan. Yeah. Perfect. Oh, it's been a long one. Damn it. I just crossed over the 2-hour mark. So, well, it has been a pleasure. I'm going to go ahead and skedaddle out of here. Masterpiece is the medicine. Yes. I talked a lot about that earlier. And I talked about the ceremony that we did and my vision and some of what you said and how that it lined up. There was things actually I didn't tell you, Jennifer, that it really lined up with that. because oh god, I just want to tell you, I just want to tell you right now, but I'll tell you we're gonna talk like tomorrow. I'm pretty sure, so I'll wait. But yeah, what you said to me was really powerful about not giving my heart away, and the fact that that was literally one of the sayings that I'm not looking. Here I am. I'm like, I'm not going to tell you, but I'm just going to tell you. It was one of the things that me and my ex that I was crying to you about there, because I drank some wine, and that's what happens. I drink, and it comes out. But once it was out, and I was like, okay, I feel like I can handle this. But that was literally like one of the sayings from this show that I used to love, was like, when you leave, take my heart with you, and and he'll give me his in replacement. You know what I'm saying? It was like an exchange. So yeah, it's all right. Not a big deal. I go on for a long time. I be here. Go Max. Yes, go Max. Awesome. And then you know what? And I will kind of. Uh, I feel like I lost subscribers the last time I went into the political realm a little bit, but I still stand on what I was saying. For anyone who, and this is my opinion, and I'm not afraid to say it, I absolutely think Candace Owens is on the right track. I absolutely think what we should be doing is asking questions about Charlie Kirk's assassination. I absolutely think that there's a lot of fishy, shady shit that's gone down with Trump. As much as I loved him and voted him into office, I think that he is bought and paid for by Israel. That's literally what Charlie Kirk told me when I was able to channel him a couple days after he passed away. I think Erica Kirk is a fucking honeypot. I think she's a honeypot. In fact, I am sincerely wondering if Charlie Kirk's entire life was truly a Truman Show. Was that truly a Truman Show? Was he just surrounded by state actors the whole time? It's very sad to know that, and I do feel like part of him on the other side feels that like he knows the truth now, and it's sad that he didn't know the truth then. Because he was really a shining soul. I love you, Jennifer. Yeah, I love you, Jennifer and Brian and your family, and I'm so glad that God brought you guys into our lives, brought each other into our lives. Look at that, my Ace of Swords ain't working so good at the moment, but I really do love you guys. I felt like you guys were real soul family. It's like, wow, they really vibrate as soul family, and I want to keep that type of energy in my life. Like those types of connections with real good-hearted people who really want to see the world a better place, or at least help the people that they love and that are close to them and they care about be better. Like I'm all about that. I'm all about helping each other be successful and grow in whatever ways that our heart desires. Yes. Hi, Brian. You know what I realized though, now that I'm listening to the songs, I've been listening to the songs in my car when I drive DoorDash. I need a drum. Like if I'm gonna practice, I feel like I need a drum. I want a drum, Like I'm sorry, look at me get all excited about it. I want my own drum. I want to be able to practice the songs. I want to listen to them. I want to learn them. And I just think it's very important, you know. And yeah, I want to feel connected to those ancestors, and I want their help. I want their assistance in whatever way that I can, and whatever my bigger mission is here. I'm hoping. I've been praying to Chief Golden Light Eagle a lot, guys. I've been talking to him and just asking for his guidance. And he kept talking to me, and when I would hear him, he would sound like Brian. I would hear Brian's voice, and I was like, "Why do you sound like Brian?" And he was like, "Because I talk through him now." That's what he said. I was like, "Oh, it's like he does talk through him, doesn't he? He does. They are connected very strongly." Anyway, that's all. That is all for the day, guys. Yeah. hmm Yes, I need my drum, and I need to practice the songs, and I'm going to bring them here. I'm going to do them even on my YouTube, because I've sung on my YouTube before, even though I've totally messed up. But I was like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it for that little girl inside me who always loved to sing, and I'm going to do it unafraid. But I was terrified. I still did it anyway. Oh yeah. Oh, Heidi says she can make me one. I would love that. If anyone feels inclined to want to help me to receive a drum for this, it's kind of what I'm waiting for. I was gonna do that. I was gonna put that out as a prayer manifestation, that because I've done it before with other objects. You know what I'm saying? I've asked like Jesus before. I've asked the Christ consciousness to send me a silver chain, a silver cross. I asked the Christ I said, Jesus, if I'm really worthy and I'm deserving um of this thing. I forget exactly, this was like years ago, right? I was like, if I'm really connecting to you, if I really am worthy and I'm on the right path and I deserve this, I want you to send me a silver cross. I said I want it to be granted to me within the next week. I said I want it to look like this particular silver cross. And I said it has to be a gift. It has to be given to me. I don't. So within a week, a silver cross, looking in a certain way, and it has to be gifted to me. I wasn't going to buy it. And within a week, the man I was with at the time, who's the father of two of my children, we were hanging out, and he said, "Oh yeah." He said, "Hold on." He said, "My grandma, who was a nun, who left the nunnery to be with his grandfather, right? My grandma, who was a nun, she wanted me to offer you up this, and there was 3 silver crosses. So I got not just one silver cross, I got 3 offered to me. So, Holy Trinity, you know. hmm Oh, that would be really cool. She's talking about making your own drum. I would love to make my own drum. That was the other thing I was thinking. I was like, well, if it's not, how would I go about doing that? I felt like that was an important part of it. Making my own drum. So yeah, the Christ consciousness. I'm all about working with that. It's called the Christos realignment mission. I know, right? I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. I know, because I really want to sing again. You know what I'm saying? Like, now that I did it that one time, I was like, okay, I survived it. Heart palpitations and all. I survived the singing, and I mean, my biological father was a singer. He was a singer in a band. He was the lead singer of a band. They mainly sing cover songs. Yeah. So I took singing lessons when I was a little girl. Not that I have like the most on point voice, but you don't really have to. Anyone can sing as long as your heart's in it. I think that it will be moving. Okay, I really got to go now though. Please hit the thumbs up button for me, guys, on your way out. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I love you so very, very much. It means the world to me that you're all here, like that I'm still having people come and follow me at all, like that I'm gaining subscribers finally for making my shorts. And I'm gonna make other cute little shorts like that, because I do have fun. Like I said, my daughter was the one who really inspired me to start doing that. And if you have your own YouTube channel, try out the Opus program. And there's one more thing. And if you don't have a YouTube channel, or you have one and you're not using it, this is your sign to try to get out there. Make a YouTube channel. Put your story out there. There's nothing more freeing than like knowing that that you can be like. Here's the thing: people can't really love the real you if you don't show them the real you. Show people the real you. Your tribe will come to you. They will come. They will gather. So, yes, bring your channel, girl. Let's bring your channel back to life. I will come on there. We will have a blast. We'll have so much fun. We can tell so many different little stories. I'll pull some cards for people. I'm more than willing. And also, I'm also going to work on my channel when it comes to downloading StreamYard and being able to have people on my show. That is that is what 2026 is about for me. We are having people on my channel. Okay, that's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna do it. Okay, yes, let's do it. Let's go, Max. Let's go, Max. Oh God. Okay. All right, for real though, I really should go now. I've like said this like 3 times now. Okay, I'm really happy. Thank you guys. Thank you all for coming. I see you guys. Hi there. Yes. Petition signed. Yay. I'm gonna tell Mike and Desiree that we got some signatures for their petition. Thank you guys. Make sure you sign it, okay? Make sure you sign. We do not want to be tested. I don't know if it will get us anywhere, but take a look at their stuff because like I said, the nanotechnology is fucking everywhere, sadly. Sadly. And if you are needing energetic readings or clearings or things of that nature, I recommend my friend Joanna LeBlanc. She is in the chat. She's one of the new moderators we modded. And also Selena does really good work too. Matthew and Honora, remember your mission right there. They're great for energetic clearings with tarot. And Nora does her own way. Okay, so definitely get reading. She's highly psychic too. I got a whole crew. You understand? I got a whole crew of people. Like, just tell me what you need. I can guide you, and that's actually what my astrology, my natal chart. I was told at one point that that's what it was signifying that I was meant to do. That I was meant to be like a community hub for like all the like the bigger people in the community. I was meant to be like a hub to guide people to where they needed to go because of my 11th house. Yeah. So, of course, Joanna, you nail it. You nail it every time. Like, of course I'm going to recommend you, silly girl. I love ya. All right. I love you guys. Have a great holiday season. Have a great Christmas. I really hope that you find yourself and you find the people who really see you. You know, I see you. Bye.